What if the most valuable thing you ever give your child isn't a college fund, a car, or even a great education, but simply teaching them how money works? Research shows that money habits are formed before age 7. 7. That means, right now, in your daily conversations, your grocery trips, your small decisions, you are already teaching your child about money. The question is just, what are you teaching them? Welcome to this summary of Raising Money-Smart Kids by Money Behavior Lab Publishing, a practical guide for parents who want to give their children what school never will, real financial education from ages 3 to 18. The book is built around one uncomfortable truth. Schools dedicate 0 hours to personal finance. Children learn history, science, and literature. But when they turn 22 and face a paycheck, a credit card, and a stack of bills, they are completely on their own. The result? Generations of adults learning about money through painful, costly mistakes. Debt in their 20s, zero savings in their 30s, financial anxiety that follows them for life. But you're holding this summary because you want something different for your child. So let's get into it. The book is organized by age. We'll walk through each stage. Part 1. Ages 3 to 6. The first concepts. Chapter 1. What money is and where it comes from. Young children are naturally curious about money. They see coins in your hands. They watch you pay at a store. They ask questions. And how you answer those questions, or whether you answer them at all, shapes their very first relationship with money. The book identifies 3 foundational ideas that children ages 3 to 6 can genuinely understand. The first is that money is earned by working. It doesn't appear magically. Adults do something valuable for others and receive money in exchange. This one idea, taught early, lays the foundation for a healthy relationship with effort and reward. The second idea is that money has limits. When you spend it on one thing, it's gone for something else. The book gives a beautiful, simple way to teach this. We have a little money to spend today. If we buy the toy, we won't have money for ice cream. You choose. That's it. That simple moment is teaching your child what economists call opportunity cost, and they'll understand it before they can read. The third concept is the difference between needs and wants. Food, shelter, clothing, needs, candy, toys, games, wants. 3 years old is not too early for this distinction. One specific note from the book that parents often overlook: the ATM. Many young children genuinely believe it's a magic money machine that gives you unlimited cash whenever you need it. The fix is easy. The bank holds the money I earned working. The ATM gives it back to me. It doesn't give me extra. It gives me what I put there. The book's first activity for this age group is the 3 jars system, and it's brilliant in its simplicity. 3 clear jars decorated together with your child, one labeled spend, one labeled save, one labeled give. Whenever your child receives coins, for a small task or as a gift, you help them divide it between the 3 jars. The spend jar is for what they want now. The save jar is for something bigger they want in the future. The give jar is to help someone. This single habit, started at age 4 or 5, installs a lifelong framework for handling money. Chapter 2. The first lessons about value and effort. Here the book addresses one of the most debated questions in parenting. Should children be paid for chores? The answer it proposes is nuanced. Basic household chores, picking up toys, making the bed, setting the table, are contributions that everyone in the family makes simply because they're part of the family. No payment attached, just like parents don't charge for cooking dinner. But there's a second category, extra tasks above and beyond normal responsibilities. Washing the car, cleaning the garage, helping with something specific. These can have compensation. This distinction is important because it teaches 2 things simultaneously: responsibility as a member of a household and the connection between effort and reward. Part 2, Ages 7 to 10. The Allowance and the First Budget. Chapter 3. The Smart Allowance. The book makes a claim that might surprise you. The allowance is the most powerful financial education tool available to a parent of school-age children. Not because the amount matters, it doesn't, not much, but because it's real money with real consequences in a safe environment where mistakes cost very little. The mistake your 8-year-old makes with a $5 allowance is vastly cheaper than the mistake they'll make at 22 with their first paycheck. A common starting guideline, between 50 cents and $1 per year of age per week. An 8-year-old gets $4 to $8 per week. Adapt to your reality. What matters most is that the amount is consistent and enough to practice real decisions. The 3 jars system evolves here into something more structured. 50% to spend freely on small things they want now. 40% to save toward a specific goal they define themselves. 10% to give to something or someone that matters to them. The book has one piece of advice here that's worth highlighting. If your child spends everything on Monday and has nothing by Friday, resist the urge to bail them out. That discomfort is the lesson. Accompanying the frustration without solving it is one of the most valuable things a parent can do in financial education. There's a specific activity here called the savings goal with countdown that makes saving visible and exciting for this age group. The child identifies something they want that costs more than 1 week's allowance. You calculate together how many weeks of saving it will take. You draw a thermometer on paper, the goal at the top, the starting point at the bottom, and each week they color in their progress. When they reach the goal, they go buy that item themselves and pay with their own money. The experience of paying with money they saved is worth more than any lesson you could teach them. Chapter 4. The First Budget and the Cost of Things. At ages 7 to 10, children have enough math ability to handle addition, subtraction, and simple proportions. This is the perfect age to introduce the budget, but the way you frame it matters enormously. Most adults associate budgets with restriction. The book reframes it completely. A budget is a plan that tells each dollar where to go before it arrives, instead of wondering where it went after it's already left. One activity in this chapter is particularly powerful for this age, calculating the cost of things in hours of work. If mom or dad earns approximately X dollars an hour, how many hours of work is that video game? How many hours is the phone bill? How many hours is dinner at a restaurant? This is not meant to generate guilt. It's meant to develop the perspective that financially intelligent adults have naturally, seeing prices in terms of time and effort, not just dollar signs. Once a child learns to see the world this way, they never fully unsee it. There's a lot more in this chapter, including a practical activity where the child plans their own birthday party within a fixed budget, deciding what to include and what to cut. The decisions they make reveal a lot, and the learning is real. Part 3. Ages 11 to 14, Assets, Debt, and First Income. Chapter 5. Compound Interest. Explained to a teenager. If there is one financial concept with the power to fundamentally change a person's economic future, it is compound interest. And the best age to teach it is exactly this window, 11 to 14. Old enough to understand it, young enough to benefit from it. The book tells the story of 2 cousins to make it vivid. Sophia starts investing $100 per month at age 14, earning 8% annually. At 65, she has approximately $670,000. Carlos waits until age 24. He invests $200 per month, double what Sophia invests, at the same 8%. At 65, he has approximately $640,000. Sophia ends up with more money, having invested half as much. The only difference, she started 10 years earlier. This story, told with real numbers to a 12-year-old, lands differently than any abstract lesson ever could. The book also introduces the Rule of 72, a mental math trick that lets you calculate how long it takes for money to double. Divide 72 by the annual interest rate. At 8%, money doubles in 9 years. At 4%, it takes 18 years. At 12%, just 6 years. But then the book flips this. Compound interest also works against you with debt. A credit card at 24% annual interest? That debt doubles in 3 years if you're only paying the minimum. Showing a teenager this calculation with real numbers is far more effective than telling them debt is bad. Chapter 6. Assets, Liabilities, and the Difference That Changes Everything. This chapter introduces a concept from the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, adapted for teenagers. The difference between assets and liabilities. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. The book makes this concrete for teenagers with examples they can relate to. A skill you can teach others, programming, an instrument, a language, is an asset. It can be sold repeatedly. A monetized YouTube channel is an asset. A small business is an asset. An index fund investment is an asset. The new phone, the brand sneakers, the latest gaming console? Liabilities. They cost money to buy, cost money to maintain, and lose value over time. There's a powerful question the book suggests planting in a teenager's mind. Of every dollar that comes in, how much builds wealth and how much gets consumed? That question, if it becomes a mental habit, changes financial decisions for life. Chapter 7. The First Income. Working, Entrepreneurship, and Effort. There is a before and after in a teenager's financial life, the moment they earn their first money with their own effort. It doesn't matter how little it is. Walking neighbors' dogs, babysitting, selling something they made, giving tutoring lessons. The psychological weight of earned money is completely different from gifted money. You think twice before spending what you work to get. The book lists practical first income opportunities for ages 11 to 14. Pet care, car washing, running errands, tutoring younger students, selling handmade or digital products online. And for each dollar that comes in, the book suggests a simple distribution. 50% to spend freely, they earned it, 30% to save or invest, 10% to give, 10% to set aside for taxes or unexpected costs. The full chapter has a step-by-step guide to planning and launching a first micro-business, including finding customers and reviewing results. It's worth going through with your teenager. Part 4. Ages 15 to 18. Real Financial Life. Chapter 8. The First Bank Account. Opening a first bank account is a teenager's first formal contact with the financial system. The book doesn't treat this as a formality. It treats it as a milestone that deserves preparation. Key criteria for choosing the right account for a teenager: no monthly maintenance fees, no minimum balance requirement, good mobile app with real-time visibility, and ideally a teen account with parental monitoring that doesn't feel controlling. One skill the book emphasizes that surprisingly many adults lack: reading a bank statement. What does available balance versus total balance mean? What is a pending transaction? Why might the balance look different the next day? Teaching this before they need to know it changes everything. Chapter 9. Credit Cards, the most useful and most dangerous tool. The book is direct. A credit card used correctly is a powerful financial tool. A credit card used incorrectly is one of the most costly traps that exists. The difference is education. Here's how a credit card actually works, explained simply. When you use it, the bank pays the merchant on your behalf. You have 20 to 30 days to repay the bank. If you pay the full balance before the due date, no interest, no cost. If you pay less, whatever remains starts generating interest at very high rates. The minimum payment trap is where it gets dangerous. The bank lets you pay just a small fraction of your balance. Technically, you're current, but the remaining balance keeps growing with interest. Pay only the minimum on a $2,000 balance at 22% interest, and you could still be paying years later, having paid far more than the original purchase. The book teaches 3 golden rules of credit cards that your teenager should know before they ever hold one. Rule 1. Never charge what you don't already have in your bank account. The card delays payment. It doesn't create money. Rule 2. Pay the full balance every single month. No exceptions. Rule 3. Review the full statement every month to catch incorrect or unrecognized charges. The book's activity here runs a credit card debt simulation. $2,000 balance, 22% annual interest, minimum payment of $40 per month. Calculate how long it takes to pay off and how much total interest gets paid. Then run the same scenario paying $200 per month. The difference is shocking, and seeing it before having a card is far better than learning it after. Chapter 10. The First Paycheck, How to Avoid the Most Common Mistakes. The first real paycheck is one of the most formative financial moments of a person's life. What someone does with their first few paychecks can establish patterns that last decades. The most common mistake, treating the entire net income as money available to spend. The pattern that follows is what the book calls lifestyle inflation, spending more as you earn more so that financial stress never actually decreases even as income grows. The book teaches a different approach for the first paycheck. 20% or more goes immediately to savings and investment. 50% or less covers needs. 30% covers wants, with freedom but with a limit. The key principle is what's called pay yourself first. Separate savings before spending, not from whatever happens to be left at the end of the month. The book also helps prepare teenagers for the shock of their first paycheck looking smaller than expected because of taxes and deductions. Understanding the difference between gross salary and net salary before experiencing it removes a lot of confusion and frustration. Chapter 11. College and Student Debt. The decision to go to college, and how to finance it, may be the financial decision with the greatest long-term impact a young person makes. In many countries, it means taking on tens of thousands of dollars in debt before earning a single professional paycheck. And most young people make this decision based almost entirely on passion, prestige, or what their friends are doing, not on financial analysis. The book doesn't say college is bad. It says college is an investment that deserves to be evaluated like one. What will the degree likely earn you? How long will it take to recoup the cost? Are there more affordable paths to the same career? The full chapter includes a practical ROI analysis, return on investment, for comparing college options. It's a conversation worth having with your teenager before applications, not after acceptance letters arrive. Part 5. Habits, Conversations, and Mistakes. Chapter 12. The Power of Daily Example. Children don't learn about money from lectures. They learn from watching. The book is clear that you don't need to be financially perfect to be a good model. You need to be honest about your own mistakes and willing to talk about them. I made this mistake and learned this. I'm telling you so you don't have to learn it the hard way. One of the habits the book recommends for all ages is the monthly family money dinner. Once a month, during a regular family meal, introducing a financial topic naturally. Not as a lesson, not as a lecture, just as a conversation. We heard that inflation went up. What does that even mean for us? Or, if we had $500 extra this month, what would we do with it? There are no right answers. The goal is to normalize money as a topic families talk about openly. That habit alone changes more than any individual lesson. Chapter 13. How to Handle Children's Financial Mistakes. This is one of the most important chapters in the book for parents. When a child makes a financial mistake, spends everything too fast, loses their savings, makes an impulsive decision they regret. The parental instinct is to fix it, to rescue them. The book argues this is often the most costly response in the long run. The brain learns more deeply from experiences with real emotional consequences than from any theoretical lesson. A child who spent all their allowance on Monday and has nothing on Friday understands opportunity cost in their bones. The parent who rescues them deprives them of that understanding. The key distinction the book draws is between natural consequences, which are proportionate and instructive, and disproportionate consequences that go beyond what serves learning. Let a teenager sit with a low-money weekend. Don't let them spiral into a scam they can't recover from without help. The dialogue the book recommends after a mistake is not, "I told you so." It's a set of questions. What exactly happened? How do you feel now versus how did you feel when you made the decision? What would you do differently next time? What do you need to recover from this? These questions turn a mistake into a lesson without making the parent a judge or the child a culprit. Conclusion: the most valuable inheritance. The book ends with this idea. The most valuable inheritance you can leave your child is not money. It's a healthy relationship with money. The ability to earn it with dignity, manage it consciously, use it as a tool to build the life they choose. And you don't need to have done everything right to give them that. You just need to be willing to grow alongside them. Final note for the listener. This summary gave you the core ideas and activities from each stage, but the full book includes over 90 specific activities, step-by-step, age-appropriate exercises to do with your child. Those activities are where the real change happens. If one idea in this summary resonated with you, the full book will give you the tools to act on it, with your child starting today. Raising Money Smart Kids is available as an ebook. The ebook link is in the description of this video.